Meet Ethan. He's 28 years old, lives in a decent apartment in a busy American city, works a stable corporate job, and from the outside his life looks exactly like what most people would call on track. Growing up, Ethan wasn't just smart in a casual way. He was the kid teachers pointed to when they needed the right answer, the one classmates whispered to before tests, the one parents used as quiet motivation for their own children. By middle school, he was placed into gifted programs, and slowly that label stopped being about academics and started becoming who he believed he was as a person. School felt easy to him. While others struggled through assignments and late-night studying, Ethan could understand concepts quickly and finish his work without feeling overwhelmed. Every A he received reinforced a simple belief in his mind. That intelligence would always keep him ahead in life no matter what path he chose. In high school, the pattern continued. He didn't need to sacrifice sleep or social life to perform well, and that made him believe he had discovered a secret formula for success. Friends would jokingly call him a genius, teachers would predict a bright future, and family gatherings always included someone saying, "This kid is going to do something big." When college arrived, Ethan chose a practical major that sounded impressive and safe, because smart people are supposed to make rational decisions that minimize risk. For the first time, though, he noticed something subtle. He wasn't automatically the smartest person in the room anymore, and effort started becoming necessary. He still performed well, but now he had to try harder than before, and trying felt unfamiliar because struggle had never been part of his identity. After graduation, he landed a stable corporate job with good pay, reasonable hours, and enough comfort to avoid serious stress or financial pressure. On paper, his life looked fine. In fact, if someone described his situation objectively, it would sound like success in progress. But late at night, Ethan sometimes scrolls through LinkedIn and sees former classmates announcing promotions, startup launches, funding rounds, and bold career changes. What unsettles him isn't jealousy, it's confusion. Because many of the people advancing quickly were classmates he once helped with assignments. A quiet thought keeps repeating in his mind whenever he sees those updates. I was smarter than them, so why am I not further ahead? And that question doesn't make him angry. It makes him uncomfortable. Here's what Ethan never realized growing up. When things come easily to you, you don't develop a high tolerance for failure or repeated rejection. Throughout school, he was rewarded for being right, for raising his hand only when certain, and for delivering polished work that met expectations. Without noticing it, he trained himself to avoid situations where he might look incompetent or unprepared in front of others. In adulthood, however, success doesn't reward perfection nearly as much as it rewards consistent, visible action. At work, Ethan is thoughtful and intelligent, but he rewrites emails multiple times, refines presentations endlessly, and delays sharing ideas until they feel flawless. During meetings, he waits until his thoughts are fully structured and defensible before speaking, while others casually throw out imperfect suggestions without hesitation. Those imperfect suggestions don't always succeed, but the people who voice them become visible, and visibility quietly turns into recognition. Recognition then turns into opportunities, stretch projects, promotions, and leadership roles that Ethan feels qualified for, but never fully steps toward. He tells himself he's being strategic and patient, but deep down he knows he is hesitating because he doesn't want to risk looking average. When your identity is built around being smart, failure doesn't feel like a normal setback. It feels like proof that you were never exceptional to begin with. So instead of launching the side project he's been thinking about for 2 years, Ethan continues researching, planning, and refining ideas privately. He convinces himself he just needs a better strategy or clearer timing, but the truth is he's waiting to feel completely ready before exposing his work publicly. Meanwhile, people who were never labeled as geniuses are building messy prototypes, posting imperfect content, asking for feedback, and improving in real time. Intelligence allows Ethan to clearly see every possible risk, but instead of using that awareness constructively, he lets it amplify hesitation. He can imagine worst-case scenarios so vividly that inaction starts to feel safer than progress. Over time, something ironic happens. The very intelligence that once gave him confidence becomes the reason he overthinks himself into paralysis. One evening after work, Ethan sits at his desk staring at a half-written document that contains an idea he's been revisiting for months. For the first time, he asks himself an honest question. What if I am not stuck because I lack ability, but because I'm afraid to test it? He realizes that staying in the realm of potential has protected his ego, because as long as he never fully commits, no one can measure his true capability. Potential feels powerful because it's untouched, untested, and impossible to criticize. But the real world doesn't reward hidden potential. It rewards execution, resilience, and the willingness to look inexperienced at first. The people moving ahead aren't necessarily more intelligent than Ethan. They've simply developed comfort with discomfort. They take action before they feel confident. They accept visible mistakes as part of growth, and they build momentum through repetition rather than perfection. Ethan slowly begins to understand that intelligence is neutral. It can be a tool for growth or a shield for avoidance depending on how it is used. He sees that being smart gave him fast early progress, but it also delayed his exposure to struggle, rejection, and failure. And without those experiences, he never built the emotional muscles required for long-term ambition. That night, instead of closing his laptop and telling himself, maybe later, Ethan decides to take one small, imperfect step. He doesn't suddenly feel fearless or completely confident, but he understands something deeper. Waiting to feel ready has been the real obstacle. For the first time, he allows himself to look like a beginner again, even if that means risking the image of being effortlessly smart. And maybe that is the quiet truth most people never talk about. Smart people aren't unsuccessful because they lack intelligence. Sometimes they struggle because they protect their intelligence too much, and in doing so, they avoid the very risks that create extraordinary outcomes.